good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night. This is Pixelia here. I'm with my man, 1Existence. Well, at least that's how I know him in the Central End. That's how we all know it. And, he's here with us. He's going to be sharing a little bit of himself. Thank you for being here, my man. Much appreciated. It's an honor to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Now, this is it's fun to have you around. As you know, we've been going on for a while. It's been 5 seasons. We've had the honor and the opportunity to share with many of our community members. And you were always kind of in the list, just with a pin there. I still remember the first time I met you in game. But before we jump into the sweet aspects of the conversation, let's dive into the first question I always ask, which is, how was it that you get involved with crypto? And how did you get your first coin or your first crypto coin? And how did that process get you to the central app?
Well, it was maybe 2018, 2019. I had heard about Bitcoin specifically. Not sure I had heard of any of the other ones out there now that there's millions of them.
Yeah.
But I finally met someone and the topic came up. Excuse me, because he was playing around on Coinbase with different cryptos. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because I've been interested in this. And I've never met anyone else that knows anything about it or is involved or even cares about it. So he told me about Coinbase and how to get on there and a little bit about what he was doing as far as trading. And we would talk about different coins now and then. And he was so frustrated because he would jump into one and then it would go down and then he would sell it. And he was doing all I
Buy high, sell low type of technique.
Yeah, he was doing everything wrong pretty much because he could not hodl, we'll say. But that got me into the crypto space, and Bitcoin app was not my top one then. I recall looking into Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XLM was one that I was really interested in, and I thought it would be much bigger now than it is. But I mean, it's still around, and I think it still may have a future. But that led me to eventually what is now X. I don't think anybody will ever officially call it that, but Twitter,
Yeah.
which I've had an account since 2011 and rarely ever used it. I started using it more around that same time. But that was more for, I found that customer service would take care of you better or faster from a company if you tweet about it. I'm like, ooh, this is pretty cool. I got much better responses than when I would call or try to contact them other ways. So, and then I started seeing some things about Decentraland and the Metaverse. And it's something that's been in the back of my mind. I had heard about it. I was definitely interested in it. I think I visited, I know I visited Second Life once upon a time, years ago. But there wasn't anything super exciting or anything there to keep me interested. So I left there. And I know I went to I couldn't
Beta
find anything
tester,
going
yes.
on. I couldn't find anything going on. I didn't know what it had to offer me. I didn't look that hard. And I remember also attending. It was probably around Halloween or something. It was a Paris Hilton thing was going to be there. Not that I'm a huge fan, but it did intrigue me because I figured lots of people would be there. Um, but I had issues. I couldn't. My computer couldn't handle it. Um, but then in 2022, right? God, the years blend together anymore. Um,
It
I did.
happens to all of us, bro. No worries.
I don't know. I don't know why they started appearing on my feed, but I started seeing more Decentraland posts, and I'm gonna bring them up because it is a big part of how I got here and where I am today. But Metatrekkers was one of them, and they had with their NFT, you'd be able to use their land if you were a
Yep.
holder. And I got on the whitelist, and at that time I was running around. I was intrigued by the wearables and the different builds. So I was running around, checking out, going to different locations, wearing different clothes, and I would try to find out who created what I was wearing, and then I would tweet about it. And that's where I first started and how I went from crypto into Decentraland.
That's what was like. Seeing you just mentioned meta trackers, and yes, at at one point they were like a big thing in the central end. Well, they made a lot of noise, at least.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
and they were doing good things. I felt.
yeah, it's it. Look, there's a where there's shadow, there's always light, right? So
True, true.
if there was a shadow, there was for sure a light. So yeah, that, it's just like with people, you know. There's always good and there's always bad.
Exactly.
It just happens. It is what it is. But as a part of your story, I do remember the NFT collection that you mentioned, the one that looks like a Tesla bot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one? Um, but then I remember like the first time I met you in game was at the No Paper Hands,
Okay.
no,
Mm-hmm.
no Paper
Yeah,
Hands contest. Um,
that was so much
the
fun.
very first time we interacted, I think,
That was so much fun
and
too.
I was very excited about the idea of playing rock paper scissors with modes. You know, it's one of the things I enjoy the most about the Sentinel. You know, the emotes.
That's okay.
Um,
Yeah,
I take pride on being very good at using them just at the right second and in the right way. um, so you know, I just wanted to give that a shot. And then I found you there. You want to tell me a little bit more about that project or how you got involved? What was your role
yeah,
there?
certainly. Well, it was first. I kind of met Sir Degen, who came up with the idea and was the lead on that. So I was Metatrekkers reach out to me because they saw my posts and I guess they liked something, but they asked me if I would like to co-host an event they were doing. Um, and I did it with Biometa, who's doing big things with streaming right now.
Yeah.
And he and I are still
Mhm.
friends. I'm glad to have met him. Um, but we did a wearable Wednesday where we would showcase and interview the creators of the wearables inside of Decentraland. And that's how I met many of the people I know today. Very talented creative people. And then Fan Art Friday, we would do NFTs as well. And same thing, met a lot of people. But I also, and again, back to NX, Sir Degen was doing this. I thought it was the coolest and most unique and original idea out there. He was kind of doing a journal, so to speak, in a fun way of his adventures in Decentraland. And so I would comment on those now and then, but then I put out what I call a haiku challenge, because I kind of like to play around with non-traditional haiku. A haiku challenge, just to see what kind of reactions I could get. Well, he and Sherry Berry both responded to me, and they attempted to do one. He was trying to understand what a haiku was and such. So that led.
Let's do a parenthesis there. Just correct me if I'm wrong, because now I have this in the back of my head. A haiku is one of these very old Japanese poems that it's built upon three sentences, not necessarily related, but with deep meaning, like overall connected through the meaning that each sentence gives you, right? Or something.
Well,
like
it's yes, it's 3 sentences, but it's all by syllable. So the first line is 5 syllables long.
Okay.
So that's syllables. Syllable. That would be 3. The next one is 7, and the final one is 5 as well. So 5, 7, 5. And
okay, that's a limitation.
Yes, and then it is Japanese, and more traditional wise, it would be about something seasonal in nature. Where I say non-traditional, I don't hold to the nature part. I hold to the 575, but it doesn't have to be about nature for me, because I've done some about crypto. But yeah, he was trying to figure out a little bit more, which led to he and I, and actually Sherry Berry as well, because she really liked him and they hung out a lot, talking on the backside. And so because I had done this co-hosting, and I also do some stuff on X Space, when Sir Degen came up with this idea, his first thought of who to host it was me, which I was very honored for him to take me into consideration. So Sherry and I got together, and while they did they worked on the sponsors and everything, I just kind of would give my feedback and whatnot on the back end, and do what I can when they asked me to. Like when it came down to contacting and making sure everyone was available for the first run.
For the first round of rock paper scissors, right?
Exactly. So, and
this was not the season that I was involved in.
There's only been one season. There was only one season.
There was only one. Okay, so I was actually able to participate in the
one. And see, we talked about it, and I think a lot of the events get burnt out kind of fast, especially when they're weekly. So we talked about it, and we decided we were going to go every 2 weeks, to spread it out. We didn't want to have to compete with or overlap with other events if at all possible, because some people tend to get bent out of shape when that happens, unfortunately. But plus it gave us time to prepare and make sure everybody, the contestants, would have enough notice to make sure they were able to attend. So
But overall, it was cool. Um, it was Peter Parker who won it.
Say again.
Who was the champion of that one?
The overall winner ended up being Jason Summers.
Jason Summers. Yeah,
Deadhead was very close. I was rooting for her. I was she now she won the first. So we did. It's I guess maybe you could call it 2 seasons. Maybe she won the first um overall, and then she was going to compete against.
Jason.
Did we do it? Maybe we had 4. Because I remember the final season we had more than just 2 people, or at the end of it. But yeah, we must have done like 4 brackets, and because there was 4 people that competed at the end. If I recall, it was Deadhead. I want to say Lovely 17, Jason Summers, and one more.
Myself.
It was you.
Yeah, myself.
That's what I thought. I'm so sorry.
And DJ Tracks ended up joining the party.
So, yeah, yep. And Future Music did a lot of the music for it. He was kind of the music sponsor, and I think Sinful and Biometa did some of the streaming. So, and Canessa let Sir Degen use a plot of her land.
Yeah.
And somebody helped.
Cyclopa build the ring.
What's that?
Cyclopa build the ring. You build the mosh pit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then somebody helped with the wearables. I don't think I was ever told who, because they didn't want it to be known with some of the wearables. Some were donated, but then there was a few things that were created specifically for the event itself. So
there was it was a pretty cool event.
Oh, La Liga Land was a big sponsor.
La Liga Land, yeah.
Yep, and there was some
with their season pass, I think.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool event because you're used to all this like very complex games, you could say, like the rock paper scissors was so simple. I mean, it's that simple as it gets.
Who did the emotes? Do you remember the emotes? They had the campfire set.
Studio Sparkles.
Yes, thank you, Studio Sparkles. I don't want to forget them. So
no, that's one of my favorite. Like the one that's sitting next to the bonfire.
They're very cool.
It was for free.
Yep, they gave the emotes to Sir G-Gen to give to the contestants, which he did wait, which was good. He did wait till the last minute to hand them out because just in case, we didn't want to give them all out and have people not show up.
Yeah, I know. I remember I got my set the day, I think it was the day before or the day of the event, which was pretty cool because I had to learn how to use them properly. It was fun. Overall.
And and you said simple game being played in the metaverse was so cool.
Dude,
the excitement,
hear me out. I have rock paper scissors with Tagpoco in so many places.
Oh,
you have no idea. Yeah, like you have no idea. In the middle of like a bunch of parties, hey Tag, let's rock paper scissors the shit out of this.
Well, I was doing some tweets too, during all that, to create some excitement or just as advertisements. And a couple of them I remember were Stony Eye and Gucci Toe, I would run into them somewhere during an event or a build, and I would start doing the rock paper scissors at
Until
them,
they did it as well.
and I would make comments. I'm challenging you that they were always AFK, but I did it to DJ Tracks, and he accepted. He came and played around, and then he and I did a special round ourselves because I had challenged him. He won.
Yeah, with CJ's wife. I've also I've also emote battle like on random places.
It's fun to do sometimes.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
like
done it
I'm
in a
telling
while.
you, it's as simple as it gets
Have
for
to do it
fun.
again.
Yeah,
Um,
we should do it again.
well, and there was talk of, I thought season 2 was going to come around, but I don't know what all has transpired. Sherry Berry's kind of, a lot of it's happened to a lot of people. Not to say that they're gone, because I'm sure when the
No,
time
there's
comes, they'll be back. But moving on to doing some other things for now, and
crypto winter has been rough on a lot of people.
yeah. And I've seen Sir Degen every once in a while pop into In World.
Yeah,
I always get excited to see him.
yeah,
So
it's always good to see his unicorn head
he is
running around.
he's something else. He's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to have met him. Um,
yo, that cap that you're rocking right now, is that your crypto lid?
that this is a crypto lid, yes.
Yeah, that looks
And
alright.
it is my
But that's
ENX.
your special one. That's your
That's
custom made one.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, during my stint as a co-host for the Wearable Wednesdays, one towards the end of that, we had a artist, and we encouraged artists that if they couldn't make it or didn't want to speak, please write something out, and then we will read it for you. Not many people did that. If they didn't, they may not show up, or we'd still talk about it, but it's still nice to have something. I think it makes it that much more personable, and
Mhm.
for people who end up buying it too. But and this was the night that we were also showcasing my first wearable that I did with Hiroto Kai, legend
Mhm.
there. But it was a skater cap, um, made by Cyclopa,
Mhm.
and promoted or in coordination with Miguel Amargo's Vox boards. And this person chose not to speak, but they did write something. They did write something out, and very nicely, I must add. And I got the privilege of reading it. Ooh, this is gonna hit me, because every time I talk about it, it does. So we mentioned it, who it was by, whatnot, and I said, okay, so I'm going to read what they wrote, and it's talking about being at a skate park, um, and met another kid there, and who showed him some skating tricks. And as the time went on, he learned why that kid spent his time there, and it was because he came from an abusive. It was his escape from an abusive family, or parent. Um, and it ended where the kid left his relatively new skate equipment, gave it to the other one, um, and went home and ardent real as goes by, was born. And of course that was that touched me. And I ended up talking with this because they were present. So I ended up, in Discord and stuff, talking back and forth with this person. And what really blew my mind is when he told me he was only 15 at the time of the interview. And he had gone on to create this wearables or in IRL clothing company, basically, I guess, where they will donate skate equipment to the kids that are in need. And to hear that coming from somebody that young was amazing. Amazing. It goes by cryptolids.com.
Yeah.
He and I gave each other our wearables to give away to people as well. And he was also the first one that had, I still can, to this day, don't believe there's not more of them, where if you buy his skater hat, I think it's like 25 mana, he would send you a IRL hat too.
Yep.
And it still boggles my mind that more people didn't take him up on that. I know of a few people that did after I introduced them. So that was cool. And I reached out to him not too long ago as well. So he and I still chat once in a while. I like seeing him grow, which he has. He's really big into crypto. CryptoLids does accept cryptocurrency too. And I wanted to do this. So I've done lots of giveaways. I do lots of promoting for other people just because I want to. Nobody ever asks me. It's just simple, and I have fun doing it. But the conversation, the talk had come now and then. I could not find a Decentraland t-shirt, and I wanted one, along with many other people do too. And I thought about it for a while, and I finally decided, and I was going to be, I was going to be a little selfish in this, but I made a contest for people to enter a design for a t-shirt. I got like 10 plus myself judges who were going to vote for me. I put a list of criteria for them to vote on or to judge the designs by. I had Punk Pink, Rustan, Chrono T, and Aristar. I can't. Eris. I'm going to say Eris. Who was newer to everything. But she's an artist that or cubes, 29 cubes, 72 cubes. Shit, I forget. But they have a gallery in Decentraland, and they displayed her art one time. So she entered. And she was the winner.
Okay.
So, and my intent all along was to ask CryptoLids, Ardent, if he would do, put the print on shirts. And I was going to buy, I was going to buy 10. 2 were definitely for me. I decided I was going to give one away. I was going to do a wheel spin of my judges. and one of them would win one. And then if the artist did a wearable as well and sent one for free to my judges, then I would send them a t-shirt too. Well, I did the giveaway. I have one here yet to give away at an IRL event, which I've been to one. I hope for another one soon with this ambassador program going on that I plan to give one away. And I sent two to buy a Meta, one for himself and one for him to give away in New York at an IRL.
Yeah, he's in the East Coast.
But then I had one of my judges, and I wish I had never done this, went on about something. So I asked the artist about selling, if I could open up some for selling to just the judges, which that led to some tension, I guess, because my main thing was I wanted the t-shirt and I wanted it to be unique. I didn't want a whole bunch out there. I wanted it very, very rare, which it is. So it did open up for a very short period of time. I don't know who got one, who didn't, but it is no longer available. But as you know, Rustan is he's very kind, generous, helpful.
He's an amazing guy.
Amazing artist.
He's an amazing guy, an amazing person. Like, he's a better person than he's an artist.
Yes, he's
and
tremendous.
That is fucking tough to beat.
He is tremendous. He is one of them I met at the IRL event when Buffalo, Pan, and Dream Z came from France to the U.S.
Yeah, they went to Florida recently.
Yep, and their last stop was in Los Angeles with Stone. I met Stoney. I met Sultry. Brandon Manis.
Oh yeah, they did an event with Sultry Dogs over there.
Yep, Shelly Van, Dino. I was terrified to go, but I'm so glad I did. And I forgot where I was going with it. So I asked, somehow it had been mentioned or something, but I didn't pursue it. But then I went back and I asked Rustan about putting his design on the t-shirt and opening it up for everybody. He said, do what you want. He didn't care. He didn't care what I did with it. He didn't care about the money coming from it, which I never did any of this for the money either. So I had asked them to put it on a t-shirt, and it's been opened up for everybody. Anybody can get one. And
at CryptoLeaks.com.
Yep. And then I just recently asked him if he could put it on a hoodie and a coffee mug.
That would be take my money situation.
And a coffee mug, and then he also put it on a water bottle. So there are now 4 options. If you go to CryptoLids.com and type in keyword Metaverse, you will see that selection. I didn't ask him to do it, but he did it for me. You will see my hat on there. Mm-hmm. And
Cyclopa's as well.
Cyclopa has a small collection there too of some hats. Beanie, I think, as well.
He has a beanie and a cap.
Yep. So any of those are up for grabs now for anybody. And I'm hoping, I put this out there. I'm hoping people that are going to the summit will purchase one and wear it.
Yeah, that will be amazing. They will help a lot of kids as well. Yeah.
Well, he's only keeping a small percentage. It's coming back to me, but my plan is to, depending on how much comes through, I'm hoping maybe recoup a little bit because I paid a lot of money for this. But again, the money was not. I'm not in any of this to make money. If it happens, it happens. But I'd like to use it to help artists that can't afford to submit wearables. So
To submit them.
yep. I
That's
haven't determined how to go about it, whether I have a contest for it or which I may not. Or people apply and I just kind of look it over and determine who gets it. But that's what I'd like to do if enough sales come in.
that's what you're currently working on, right? Like
Yep.
trying to. That's a pretty nice thing. That's a pretty nice approach.
Well, and I wanted to do this before, where I was going to do a contest in general, and whoever won, I was going to pay for their wearable to be submitted, but I never ended up doing that one. I ended up doing, because I wanted the T-shirt, and you gotta take care of yourself once in a while. So
Yeah, no, the t-shirt, to be honest with you, sounds good, but the hoodie thing, you got me there.
yeah,
Yeah,
have to have
I
to
like
start
hoodies
saving
a
up for
lot.
that one.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna have to start saving up for that one.
remember, you can use crypto to purchase it too.
Yeah, yo, just to kind of wrap it up, let's say you know how overwhelming it can be for the first time user in the central app, right?
Yep.
We all have our first time experience story, and not everybody has the best first time user experience story
Exactly.
because people tend to discover the central app on their own. You know, like it's not like someone showed them how to do it. At least for like the first wave of people that I knew in the central end, which ultimately speaking are the ones that I ended up interviewing later on because are the ones that are currently working to build up the platform. Um, you know, I've learned at least to to be with my friends or to at least be next to them when they're jumping for the first time, so that I can guide them, I can explain them,
Mm-hmm.
and I know for a fact this is a much more friendly experience. Not everybody has that, so um, what would your words of wisdom for that first time user who maybe is not necessarily sitting with a friend, and who this is being streamed on Tominoya, DG's residency. So it'll be a casino environment. DG drives half of the daily user
Yeah, pretty much.
down of the central end. So um, there's a lot of first time casino users, let's say, right? What would your words of wisdom be for these people? Just to encourage them to go outside the casino, or even if they're just like if it's a first time user and they're just walking by, what would you say them?
Well, for that specific instance, going into the casino, because that's where a lot of people are, but they're probably wrapped up in playing, is to the cool thing about one of the coolest things about a Decentraland is you can walk the world. Sometimes a scene may have to load, but you don't have to leave and go somewhere else. Your screen doesn't, your view stays it's like, it would be like walking through a neighborhood, basically. Unlike a lot of the other ones, they're worlds where you have to click a link to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Decentraland, you don't have to do that. I would definitely say, well, first ask in the chat if somebody can help. Is there somebody who can show me the ropes? Because there are tons of people out there that are willing to do so and more than happy to do so. And but if you're not getting a response, is to start walking and around, checking things out, and it the coolest thing is you may come across this one person out there in the middle of nowhere, so to speak, and they're the ones that are probably going to help you. One of my first experiences was I ran into somebody at one of the trams. As you know, there's not much going on along the roads there at the tram, and they said, "Oh, you need a wearable," because I had default clothing on, and they asked for my Twitters or my Twitter so I could send them their wallet, or maybe I gave it to them in the world. I don't remember, but that was Mr. Dingia. Sent me my very first wearable, and I will always remember that. I like him. He's a cool builder in world, but get out, wander around. Somebody's willing to help. Somebody's more than willing to help you, because I offer it all the time, but nobody ever takes me up on it. Very, very rarely. I've gotten the opportunity to show some people around or help them out a little bit. Like New Year's, there were two people in there that were new, and I sent them my wearable, some other things, got them over to the dollhouse so they could actually see something going on, because there was a party at the dollhouse, and I just love that. That makes me happy. But especially if you get to hear somebody the moment they come in world, like this Kanako. I was there when he first entered, and just hear his awe and just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
my
It is
God,
a fun experience.
it sends chills down my spine. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like crack to me, I guess. It's hard to
That's
get.
why I told you that I really enjoy being there with them, like sitting next
Yes.
to them when they're doing it.
So
Like just seeing their faces with awe.
if you can
Uh,
find someone to help you out, cool. Take them up on it. Otherwise, I say get out. If nobody in the casino is able to help you or responds, just get out, walk around, experiment here and there yourself, and you'll run into somebody who can tell you some things,
the
and we'll be
metaverse
more
is
than happy.
funnier with friends.
That's well, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's always something going on for sure now. There always is.
Oh my man, it's been a pleasure having you around today, hearing all about your projects and all about your road down the path, down the rabbit hole, let's say. And I can wait to see all of these projects come to life, man. Been
Yeah,
an
I
honor having you around for real.
last year was my year. I called it my year to build. This year's my year to go to dive further. I learned Blender. Thanks, Peppy God. He got me over my fear. He actually went one-on-one with me, because I opened that up and that UI just scares the bejesus out of me. He got me to build. I hope to actually build something this year, and I have an idea and a plan, and I want it to be an event that is different than what most of them are.
We have a surprise for our community as well. That
Awesome. I can't wait.
yeah,
Can't wait.
bro. Thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure for
Thank you
real.
for having me.
We'll be seeing you soon, and don't forget to enjoy the casino. Take care.
Oh yes. Uh, thanks to Zesty Beam, I can play there. So I need to go do that. And
Yeah,
as I
take Sesty's chips. He deserves to be stripped of them.
and as
Okay.
I end everything, be safe, be well, be you.
Take care,
Thank you.
bro.